that both of them, having posed as the victim for so long, are really the aggressors.
Breaking right now, Revenge Part 2. Tom Bower, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill.
Who's Meghan's lies, and of course they're furious with him. So the whole series ends with that statement on the screen.
Every single time Meghan Markle tries to draw a neat little line under her past, bam! Something or someone yanks the rug right from beneath her. And this time? Oh, this time it's Tom Bower, the royal biographer who has made a career out of blowing the lid off secrets people would die to keep buried. Forget gentle whispers. Bower doesn't tiptoe. He stomps in with revelations that make Meghan's carefully polished image crack wide open.
Of perfidy. You know, for example, the whole description she does of the Portland hospital.
While royal aides in London are allegedly slipping into quiet corners, whispering about possible reconciliation talks with the Sussexes, Meghan's world is about to be rocked by something she didn't see coming. Bower isn't rehashing old stories. He's reviving the most scandalous rumor Meghan has been desperate to erase, her alleged yacht girl past. Yes, that rumor, the one she spent years trying to shut down.
We all know the first interview was given to CBS. We all know that she never intended to go to the Portland hospital. She intended to have the baby at home. We know that they deceived the public about...
And here's the kicker. Bower doesn't care about politeness, reputations, or whose feelings he hurts. He's got nothing to lose, and his words, they sting sharper than anyone else's. His blunt declaration, Meghan's so-called fairy tale isn't a love story at all. According to him, it's nothing more than a fabrication, stitched together with contradictions and cover-ups. He even went as far as to say Meghan's lies could flood the earth. That one-liner didn't just rattle tabloids, it exploded across social media like wildfire.
Has revealed. He's told the Daily Mirror, I've got a lot of new material already, and I think the whole world...
Now let's be real. If there's one rumor Meghan Markle has fought against harder than any other, it's the infamous yacht girl whispers. That idea that before the tiaras, the titles, and the royal wedding gown, she was a familiar face at exclusive yacht parties. And not just casual soirees. These were the stomping grounds of billionaires, oil magnates, and Hollywood power players. They weren't cocktail mixers. They were deal-making arenas where connections were forged, favors traded, and reputations locked in stone.
Whole event. So, and also, you know, even it goes down to the lawyer saying that in that statement, when they have that long...
For years, Meghan has brushed these whispers off as nothing more than misogynistic slander. She's sworn her Hollywood grind was just the typical hustle of an aspiring actress. Auditions, rejections, and hard work. But Bower, he isn't buying it. He claims these rumors have clung on for so long because, inconveniently, they seem to fit a bigger pattern.
Back. And the fight back is just as important as...
Meghan's climb to fame, Bower argues, doesn't resemble the classic struggling actress tale of endless auditions and raw talent. Instead, it looks like a carefully calculated climb, leveraging the right introductions, polishing the right image, and strategically networking her way up the ladder of fame.
Oh, she lied in her statement that she says that she didn't cooperate with Omid Scobie, and she said that she didn't consult anyone when writing the letter to her father. That was in a sworn written...
And here's where the sting really cuts deep. By dredging this narrative back up, Bower isn't just questioning Meghan's past. He's ripping apart the very brand she's built her life on. Meghan wants to be seen as the self-made, independent starlet who magically charmed her way into a royal love story. But with the yacht girl chatter splashed across headlines again, her story looks less like a fairy tale and more like a strategy.
It says Meghan didn't lie. Well, extraordinary how the whole thing is unraveling.
And yet they don't.
And if Meghan thought the yacht rumors were brutal, Bower's commentary on her obsession with Princess Diana is downright merciless. According to him, Meghan hasn't just admired Diana, she's tried to be her. From the outfits to the poses to those candid paparazzi snaps, Meghan's been accused of meticulously staging Diana-like moments. The head tilt, the outfits, the somber gaze, it's all just a little too on the nose.
I know for the first book, Revenge, and I'm very happy to...
But the problem? Diana wasn't adored because she was persecuted. She was loved because she was genuine. She radiated vulnerability that made people feel like they knew her. Meghan, on the other hand, comes across as orchestrated and overproduced. What was meant to be a tribute feels like a parody. And the public, they're not buying it.
Family was conspiring with the press to bring them down. Where is the evidence?
It's always they. They never named them, except they did name Jason Knauf, the man who in the end exposed Meghan's lies.
Then came the harshest blow of all. Bauer dropped 4 words that must have pierced Meghan like a dagger. You can't be Diana. And let's face it, those words sting harder than anything else. Meghan's lifelong dream of stepping into Diana's shoes has flipped into a nightmare. Instead of admiration, she's now being accused of exploiting a legacy that was never hers to claim.
With that statement on the screen which says, Knauf is the liar, not us. And that is the level they've sunk to. But I also think, Netflix have a lot to answer for.
When Bauer said Meghan's lies could flood the earth, it wasn't just a sharp soundbite. It was a headline begging to be written. And honestly, he had a point. Meghan's public life has been littered with contradictions so glaring they can't be ignored. Take her claim during the Oprah interview that she never once Googled Prince Harry before their blind date. Sounds sweet, sounds romantic. But later, she admitted she had researched the royal family in other contexts, and that little slip instantly raised red flags.
That sort of succession, 6 hours of lies, they would be absolutely hounded out.
No balance.
And then there are her shifting stories about meeting Prince Charles and the late Queen. In one version, she was a wide-eyed innocent, completely unprepared. In another, she claims she'd been briefed thoroughly and knew exactly what to expect. Which is it? No one knows. And that's Bauer's exact point. The contradictions pile up until you can't ignore them. Even Meghan's much-hyped Oprah appearance, the interview meant to cement her as a victim of royal cruelty, was riddled with inconsistencies. From Archie's title to the lead-up to Megazit, fact-checkers quickly began poking holes in her claims. And within weeks, media outlets were compiling actual lists of her contradictions. For years, Meghan and Harry have been packaging their love story as one for the ages. The Hollywood actress and the rebellious prince escaping palace walls to find freedom and happiness. Netflix specials, glossy magazine spreads, endless interviews. Every medium reinforced their love story. But Bauer? He says the reality is far less dreamy. Their marriage isn't the unbreakable bond it's marketed as. Behind the curtain, he paints it as fragile, strained, and held together more by image than intimacy. And Meghan's role in all this? She leans heavily on motherhood as a shield. Time and time again, she positions her daughter Lilibet as the centerpiece of the couple's ongoing PR war. Every photo, every carefully worded anecdote feels crafted to tug heartstrings and divert attention away from deeper cracks in the marriage. Instead of patching things up privately, Meghan allegedly shines the spotlight on her kids, turning them into a distraction. If you've been watching their Netflix documentary or any of their interviews, you might think you're seeing authenticity. But critics insist most of the people praising Meghan and Harry on screen, stooges, handpicked, rehearsed, planted. It's less documentary and more scripted reality TV. And the whispers don't stop there, because Meghan's obsession with controlling every angle, every edit, every frame is reportedly creating major friction behind closed doors. Some say Harry looks increasingly uncomfortable, like he's trapped inside a PR machine that's spinning out of control. Instead of a marriage, critics claim it's starting to resemble a business deal, carefully calculated, choreographed, and staged. And the saddest part? The world wanted to believe their story. Everyone wanted that fairy tale. But instead of watching a great love story unfold, audiences are starting to see cracks. Cracks hidden beneath glossy magazine shoots and Netflix money. When Meghan and Harry first landed in California, the reception was electric. Red carpets practically rolled themselves out. Hollywood was dazzled. Actual royalty had arrived in their backyard. Meghan envisioned herself blending seamlessly into A-list society, rubbing shoulders with producers, actors, and moguls who'd embrace her as one of their own. And for a moment, it worked. Invitations came in, projects were whispered about, and the Sussexes were treated like prized dinner guests. But fast forward just a few short years, and that sparkle completely dimmed. Hollywood, once intrigued, has quietly shut the door. Producers whisper about Meghan being difficult to work with, her demands exhausting, her reputation overshadowing every project she touches. Celebrities who once lined up to be photographed with her now turn the other way. And those coveted event invitations, they've dried up. And the irony? The revival of those old yacht girl rumors couldn't have come at a worse time. In an industry obsessed with image, Meghan's alleged past and current controversies aren't just embarrassing, they're toxic. Instead of being embraced as Hollywood royalty, she's now seen as drama incarnate, the guest no one wants at their party. For Meghan, who famously left the royal family for freedom and the glitz of Hollywood, this is the ultimate humiliation. Because what did she want most? To be adored, respected, and embraced as a star in her own right. But instead, she's become the name on everyone's lips for all the wrong reasons. And let's not forget the family drama. Remember how Meghan once praised her father Thomas Markle as a great dad? She credited him with teaching her values that shaped her into the woman she became. But as her star rose, that narrative evaporated. Thomas was left isolated, ignored, even before her royal wedding. To him, it felt like abandonment. No wonder he eventually sold his story. And Harry? He twisted the knife further when he said, "Meghan's got no father and I don't have a father either." Ouch. That comment sparked outrage, painting the couple as cold, detached, and ungrateful. And if all of that wasn't messy enough, Meghan's obsession with narrative control has only backfired harder. Every move she makes looks less authentic, more manipulative. Take the Oprah interview. Reports claim Meghan insisted on heavy influence over the final cut, determined to shape how she came across. Then came the Netflix series, widely slammed for feeling more like scripted theater than raw documentary. Each scene looked carefully staged, reinforcing her victim arc and Diana-inspired image. And yet, instead of pulling at heartstrings, audiences rolled their eyes. Because here's the truth, people aren't fools. They can spot when something feels too polished, too overproduced. Instead of sympathy, it sparks suspicion. And Meghan's overproduction has become her downfall. What was meant to inspire pity now inspires doubt. Bauer puts it bluntly. The more Meghan tries to sculpt herself as the misunderstood heroine, the more she looks like the manipulator behind the curtain. And in Hollywood, perception is everything. Once the public decides you're fake, good luck ever convincing them otherwise. And let's rewind for a second. When Meghan and Harry first stepped back from royal duties, remember the global reaction? Sympathy, admiration, respect? People saw them as rebels breaking free from a cold, outdated system. Meghan especially was praised as a modern woman standing up for herself. But fast forward just a few years and that goodwill has evaporated. Why? Because Meghan overplayed her hand. The constant interviews, the endless victim narratives, the book deals, the Netflix specials, all hammering the same sob story, wore people down. Instead of inspiring empathy, it created exhaustion. Even her most loyal fans started saying, "Enough already." The transformation has been brutal. Once it was poor Meghan. Now, it's here she goes again. Every grievance feels amplified. Every story stretched thin. Every headline orchestrated to keep her relevant. And people are tired. For a while, Meghan had it all. The fairy tale wedding, the fashion, the global stage. She was hailed as the princess who might change the monarchy. But the glow faded, the patience wore thin, and sympathy vanished. The problem? Overexposure. Meghan and Harry went from a couple people wanted to protect to a couple no one could escape. Books, podcasts, documentaries, they were everywhere. And people stopped listening. Now Tom Bauer has reignited the flames, dragging up her alleged yacht girl past, accusing her of chasing Diana's shadow and exposing cracks in her marriage and career. He's painted her as manipulative, overproduced, and toxic. So is this Meghan's biggest downfall? Or just another chapter in the endless royal soap opera? One thing's certain, every time she tries to bury the past, it comes roaring back. The fairy tale, it's starting to look like a cautionary tale.